Hi. I am still home. I haven't left yet, but it's 9:19. Um, and I kind of want to do a reading, also just not a reading really. I just want to talk. I feel really good. I've had a lot of breakthroughs and it's just been one day, but I booked myself a hotel room because I was like, I need some personal space, just some me time, and it's crazy. Like I didn't realize how much I knew how much time I needed because I've already been um, like feeling overworked and overwhelmed, and like my birthday is next week on the 14th. I've like set my mind. I booked off for work. I've made it very clear that I'm aware that I need a vacation, and not like a vacation where I go and scuba dive and do all these things, though I could. But what I really want is just like peace and quiet. I just want to be at peace. I just want to be in a zone of just unraveling. Um, and being here in this hotel, I booked myself like a one night at a hotel, and then I ended up extending my stay for another day because I'm like, you know what? Money isn't real. And the universe, I am in Spirit's arms. God is holding me. And what I need will come, and what I don't need won't come. Right? So I'm just going to do things and trust that I'm doing them with intention and I have a reason. Like when it comes to spending money and things like that, I'm going to spend money on myself when it's investing in myself and caring for myself and something that will ultimately lead to a happier life for me, but not spend money frivolously like I don't have a care in the world and I don't have intention, you know? Like what wouldn't be smart is to go on a ridiculous shopping spree that I don't need, um, which I may have done a couple days ago. But what would be smart, but actually it wasn't ridiculous because I got a lot of clothes that I actually really like. But what is smart for me is investing in space alone because I live at home with one of my parents and I don't have my own room, so we're constantly sharing space and I need time alone. And like for my birthday, I was gonna go to New York and visit my sister, but then I was like, I know what I need, and what I need is time alone. Time alone when I'm not thinking or working, I'm just relaxing. Like when I went to Tulum, it wasn't a vacation. Like I was going there to start a business and learn more about myself and do work. It wasn't a vacation. So even though I was trying to relax at certain points, I was really thinking all the time about what I'm doing with my life. And for my birthday and for that week, I just want to chill. I'm going to try and get as much time off as I can. So I'm going to try and leave by Saturday. I'm not sure. I'm struggling to know what my intuition is and what my fears are and what's my like lack of surrender, my doubt, because I'm trying to book this plane ticket in this place. And money is still kind of a thing, so I'm a little nervous about like how that will come together. I've found this place that I'd really like to go. I'd really love to go to Switzerland because the nature there is so beautiful, and I feel like I feel like I could afford it, and I just feel like I'd be at such peace. And so I really want to go to Switzerland. I'm still open to whatever, spirit thinks is best for me, but that is like, I have a place in my mind now. And it's Thursday, so time is a ticking. So I'm kind of like, I'm trying to figure out whether I need to do what it takes to get myself there or whether I need to just allow for things to come together on their own. Like, this is one of the parts about manifestation and things like that that's kind of confusing for me. Because sometimes I don't know. Like, in this situation, like, I've been in a situation like this before every time I go on a trip. So, like, going to Tulum was a journey. Getting there was a journey. And I really had, like, my trip got canceled. And at first I was going to go to South Africa. There's a lot of ups and downs. And so and I've had ups and downs with trips in general for myself. Like, I never got to go study abroad because that was always being delayed or canceled with COVID. didn't get to go to Italy because that got canceled because of COVID. So like I have a little bit of anxiety around trips and making the wrong decision and things like that. But I'm also trying to trust that Spirit wouldn't let anything happen that isn't supposed to happen. So now I'm in a state of just trying to be calm and focus on what my heart wants. And what my heart wants is for sure to be in nature and to kind of be alone and to be at peace and to just be able to like shed. I don't want to have to do anything. I'm thinking of even fasting so that I don't have to cook because I don't want to do anything. But I might not do that because I'm going to be in Switzerland and I might want to try the food and like the chocolate and things like that. So yeah, I just saw 555. But the point being that I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do, what I'm supposed to do. I know what I want, and I'm really, really open to the universe taking me wherever they want me to go. Like, I don't have any places that I'm like, no, it's really whatever. I'm really open, which is a good feeling because it's a lot less stress versus if you have somewhere that you really want to go and you're like trying to force it. So even though I have Switzerland in my mind, it's not like if I don't go now, I'll never go. I do know that I want to visit Switzerland though because it's so beautiful. But yeah, I'm just open, but I just want to get going, or I'm just a little paranoid, I guess, about timing because it's Thursday. Technically, my vacation for work starts on the 12th, but I get to work from home on the 10th or on the 11th, which is the Monday, and then it's the weekend before that coming up. Like this 9th and 10th is the weekend before my vacation week. So I'm thinking I just want to leave this weekend because I might as well get the most time away that I can, right? So that's what I want to do, but ultimately I'm still, I'm letting things flow and going wherever. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Like, this is in between these two things, this type of setting is exactly where I want to be. Like, I don't know where she got this photo, but that is the type of place that I want to be. Like, I've realized that when it comes to nature for me, what I really love are like huge mountains, huge green grassy hills, meadows, things like that. Like, I know some people are beach girls, some people are hiking people, some people are like in the woods. I love like big open grass fields and like big tall mountains and like a lake. I'm very much so a lake girl. I'm definitely gonna have a lake house. And seeing Switzerland, there's this page I follow on Instagram called Landscapes Sissy Swiss, and they're so beautiful. It just shows different landscapes of Switzerland. It's so gorgeous, and this is exactly the type of nature that I want to experience. I will say this is also, this is definitely something you could find in Canada, like in Alberta and places like that. So I'm also open to going there. Switzerland sounds, more like, ooh, Switzerland. But ultimately, I'll go wherever Spirit wants me to go. I just want to go somewhere with nature. So I'm really, really open. But I guess I'm a little anxious because I'm like, it's Thursday. What do I do, Spirit? But I feel like I just need to calm down. The only thing at this point is that the only question I really do have around is money, because I'm looking at the prices. Like, I'm on this website called Hotwire, and it's where I got these hotel rooms. I got them for a pretty good deal, though I do feel like hotels in Toronto are incredibly overpriced. It really should be like $30 a day, if you ask me. But I was looking on there, and I found a place that I would feel really comfortable staying at that I think is affordable, and it's $2,200 something. And I that is over the amount of credit that I have and over the amount of money physically in my account currently. So that is a journey that I'm going to be going down, trying to figure out how that's going to work. But ultimately, it should be fine. I'm just, yeah, I just need to figure that out. I also need to get my IDs renewed because my IDs are expiring. So that's something that's on my mind. And you know what? I should probably start that process like now. Because I won't receive my new IDs for like a few weeks, but I don't want to put it off because it is important. Yeah, that's something. But it's not something in my mind that makes me feel like I'm going to be screwed if I don't have it. So I think I'm fine, but yeah. What else? Yeah. I don't know. Oh, I've been feeling like my soulmate is really close. Like this month close. And but yeah, I feel like they're close. And part of me is like I'm a very like fantasy person. That's how I see my life. And so I fantasize about them all the time, and have daydreams about them all the time, though I don't know who they are. So it's always a little bit, always changes somewhat, but it's always about my soulmate and our life together. And I'm trying to like imagine I'm trying to like move beyond imagination, but understand that it's really happening. And that feels crazy. Like, I can, but I can't. Like, it's no matter, I could be told exactly how it's going to happen, and I would still probably, I'm still going to be in shock because part of me is like, it's like, how is that even possible that somebody like that is real and exists and is coming? Like, it's just so magical. There's a lot to be grateful for. And I would say that what I'm most grateful for right now is my growth and my openness and my flexibility. And I'm really, really grateful for Spirit, for God, for my ancestors, for my spirit team, for the universe, for the world around me. And one thing I will say is that all of these buildings, like the building right in that I'm looking at, has like greenery on its roof, and I really think that they should do that in every building. Just put greenery and solar panels all on the roofs. Canada is really beautiful. We have a lot of beautiful nature. Like there's so many trees here. It's really gorgeous. Yeah, I'm really, really grateful for my growth. I can't tell you enough. Like I'm really grateful for this experience. I'm really, really, really grateful that I have had this spiritual awakening and that I'm at where I'm at. Because like I feel like so alive. And to know that I'm not crazy is the craziest part. Because I've always been such a dreamer, but it's always been a dream thing, and I was like, oh, it's just a part of my personality, and I always did believe in it to my core, but it's become very grounded this past year, and it's been amazing to experience that. So I'm just really, really grateful. To be completely honest, I'm very, very grateful. And even this energy is a switch. It's a growth, because there was a time when I was not very grateful because I was just sad and I was struggling. I couldn't see, where this was heading. And even now, I don't know where it's heading. And of course, things are going to fluctuate. There's going to be highs and lows. But when you can be aware of that, it ultimately makes the lows go by a lot faster and a lot easier. It's like just swallowing a big pill and then you move on. And the pill gets to work and you're healing, you know? So, if anything, the card that's really like defining this moment for me is this one. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. Your true north, and my true north is Cancer. That's my north node. And I've been having a lot of understandings around family and things like that. And I will say one of the most beautiful parts about healing that makes the things that you have to let go of much easier is the perspective and the broad perspective and compassion that healing gives you. Because I am aware of relationships that I will need to probably not let go of for the rest of my life, but release for a while. And I'm aware of boundaries that are going to have to be put up in conversations I'm going to ultimately end up having to have. But, there's obviously parts of me that are scared and nervous and sad. But more so, I am relieved and ready and compassionate. Because, first of all, I know that I have shit to deal with. So it's humbling because you get to see yourself and everybody else's struggles and flaws that you would point out and be like, there's a flaw, and then you're like, girl, that's you. But it's nice because it just reminds me of how much we are all on our own journeys, you know? Everybody. Even though you are the main character in your own life, in this whole big thing, everybody's got their own things to deal with. And if you can help people deal with those things by making things move along, by ending cycles and letting things go and setting up boundaries, it's for the greater good and it's for their betterment. And if you can know that and see that, then it makes the immediate letting go a little bit easier. Because it's just like, you know that things are going to be fine ultimately. And so, yeah, it's a hard boundary to set, but, you know, in the end, things are going to be way better off. And, yeah, I'm still getting, this no card. There's so many cards I've had to change my relationship with. This no card, the no in the creator deck I'm still working with. What's another one? Even this one. Dance with life. I don't know. Do something and change your energy. There's so many things that felt like an attack. And even there's still parts of me that are like, ugh, and like kind of tense up when cards like these come out, or any card that is telling me to do something differently. And it's just like each moment is just a moment to breathe and be like, you're not being attacked, you're being guided. And that's just the growth process. And it's crazy and it's annoying and it's good. Ultimately, it's good. I think even as I feel the full range of emotions, I think that one thing I can say I'm settled in is I'm not going to fight things anymore. Or I'm going to try not to fight things anymore. Like, even if there's something that I have to do that I don't really want to do, I think I'm still probably going to do it. Like, if I know it's for my betterment, you know? Because I'm just learning every day. And honestly, in every moment, that ultimately it's for the best. But that's good because it helps you realize how much every experience is actually working towards your own growth and working for you. It makes you realize that the universe is really on your side. God is really on your side. Mother Earth is really on your side. You are really on your side. I had a huge revelation about my relationship with my higher self yesterday, which ultimately is just a relationship with myself, and I ended up writing myself a love letter, which Bahati Life, I love Jessica Alexandra, Bahati Life on YouTube. told me to do, and I ended up doing it. I also really love She is the Sun Tarot. Both of them are incredible readers. I love so many readers. I love Kino Tarot. She's so sweet. I love Aso Tarot, always telling me the truth, even when I don't want to hear it. I love Lexi the Leo. I love Tay, Tarot with Tay, The Quietest Revolution. I already said Bahati Lai. I'm sure there's more that, Born with Boundaries, Born Without Boundaries, or Born with Boundaries, Born Without Boundaries, I think. Yeah. Just, there's so many amazing readers. But, and readers are literally God's gift to the earth. I mean, they really be guiding and helping and helping and helping. And just comforting. Like, I'd be listening to readers like that's all I do these days. Or I listen to Kennedy Johnson's vlogs. I really like her vlogs. But yeah. Just accepting that I just doing what I can do that's within my control and letting everything else just happen is such a weird and scary feeling. And it's like, but it's working on building that trust and being taken care of and being submissive to God. Like, I've had a lot of Christian, like, what feels like Christian content come up on my YouTube recently, and I had a pretty big dose of it a few weeks ago, but it was very different. It's different this time. So before, I had a lot of, or not Christian, but just the use of the word God, which I guess I associate with Christianity, but it could be God is boundless, right? But I had a huge push of it a few weeks ago, maybe even months ago now, I don't even know. But a while ago, this nature is really beautiful, you guys. It's really gorgeous. A while ago, where it was a lot of like people who were making videos about why they were no longer doing tarot and they were coming back to Christianity and God, and they were, protected and Jesus was their savior, and like lots of those types of videos. And I was like, oh, whoa, why is this coming up on my page? And I watched them, some of them. I didn't usually make it all the way through, but I was like, okay, interesting. And around that time, I started to use the term God again and refer to spirit and also understand that is God for me. And just reclaim my relationship with God and with the word God and all of that. Just reclaiming that energy and reimagining it to feel safe and comfortable again. And it's really made my relationship with spirit a lot more intimate, because it's kind of like uniting like the spirit that I knew as a child, which was God, with me now. And sometimes my ego jumps in and there's a lot of fighting, because my ego was really my only connection to the spirit world during my teen years, besides my ancestors. But they came through mostly in my writing. And because I wasn't like speaking to them directly, and I was really only writing with them, it was still a little bit disconnected. So my ego was my main connection to spirituality, though I wasn't considering it spirituality or anything like that. And I was really going by like non-denominational, and I wasn't thinking much or talking much about spirituality at all. I was really separate from it, and that was probably because I had gone my whole childhood. I was heavily spiritual. I wasn't really ever religious, but I was spiritual, and then obviously I was influenced by religion. But yeah, so I got that big dose of kind of like Christian, I guess, Christian-ish content, and I was like, and I took it in, and I accepted what I wanted to accept from that, and I didn't accept what I didn't. And what I accepted was that I really wanted to start using God again, like the word God again, and working on that comfort with that term and examining that and just, getting closer to that again. But I didn't take the tarot part because I was like, everybody has an individual experience. I accepted that tarot is a device of spirituality, and spirituality is vast, and so you can have a vast range of experiences with that, and that can influence how it alters, your relationship with God and spirit and all of these things. But for me, my relationship with tarot is a beautiful thing. But I also, what did happen is once I had that huge wave of videos come in, I did move away from tarot being my sole communication device with spirit. And I started talking to God a lot more just with my voice and just communicating even with you all in just through talking rather than needing to pull cards. Like I've moved away from needing to pull cards in order to give a message. The message is just within me. And now I see 999 and there's 919. So spirit knows. But yeah, that is something that I have been on a journey on, and it's been very beautiful. And see, this is what I mean when I'm like, I'm learning more and more, as hard as it is to hear and sometimes annoying as it is to hear. It all is perspective, because like if I had received that wave of videos in like December when I was really, really fragile and I was really struggling with trust and my relationship to God, to spirit, and all of these things, I was just in the dark. It was hard. Spiritual journeys are very hard. That probably would have sent me over the edge. I would have started questioning myself. I would have started feeling scared and sad and confused. But all of the healing that I did from December to May, when those videos started happening, started coming onto my page, gave me so much strength to know what's for me and what's not for me. It's so interesting, like the changes, that I've gone through. December was a hard time. December and January were difficult. Those were difficult experiences. March was kind of difficult. April was kind of difficult. Yeah, but all of those experiences were so important, and perspective is everything, because a year ago I probably would have looked at that content and been very judgmental and probably mean and said things that were coming from a place of my own hurt rather than actually being true, because I have my own things with Christianity and my own problems because of the way that I grew up and because of the way that the Christian religion has had a hold on society, and my personal feelings about that influence how I look at anybody associated, or some people associated with Christianity. And while I wouldn't have been like an asshole, I would have had my private judgments that blocked me from being able to learn and take what I needed to take, and then not take what I didn't need to take. You know what I mean? And I've had that happen a few times, where spirit has presented me with something that challenges my beliefs. Oh my God. It's like cognitive dissonance with this video that I watched yesterday that was about scripting, and she was talking about when do we procrastinate our joy, and this cognitive dissonance and being comfortable with less joy, because that's just what your comfort zone is. And anyways, it was like Spirit's been doing that a few times with me, bringing something in that's actually good, but making me have to use my intuition and understand what's meant for me and what's not meant for me, and understanding that not everything is meant for me. You don't take everything, you take what resonates. That's huge. And I think what's been really helpful is understanding my role and my part in the collective. I don't watch too many zodiac specific readings, and I've stopped trying to get readings from other readers. I just watch a lot of collective readings. Queen's Cup. That's the only other person I forgot to mention. Queen's Cup on YouTube is really awesome too. But I really like collective readings, and it's because, and as well as pick a card readings, but from specific people. I've even had to hone down or work on how many pick a card readings I watch. You know, I don't watch a lot anymore. Really, She is the Sun Tarot is who I've been watching for pick a card because I just really love her readings, and they tend to really resonate. But even with her, I can take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Just understand that not everything applies to you. Like, there's so many things that Spirit was working on with me. And when I'm saying Spirit, I do also just mean my whole spiritual team, because I know that my ancestors were also working with me. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Yeah, when I'm saying Spirit, I also am including like my ancestors, my spirit team, I'm including Spirit in that energy, which is like my whole spiritual team. And then when I say God, I'm talking about Spirit, but I'm also talking about God. So it's a little bit more intimate, if that makes sense. But anyway, I just wanted to say that because my ancestors play huge roles, and I've been trying to be a lot more intentional about really acknowledging my ancestors. I had a perfect example. Spirit gave me such a great example yesterday about what that can look like when your ancestors are at peace, and so they're resting peacefully, so they're no longer having to work so hard in the spirit realm, but they're still there, and what it looks like to be in that type of death state through the understanding of integrating like past versions of myself, like as I ascend, not looking at my lower self as something that is gone now, or like my past self as somebody that's gone now, but as somebody that is literally me, but like a part of me that I can reference to pull on this to understand this. You know what I mean? And so now it's just a part of a bigger whole. And so when your ancestors are able to heal, and you're able to remember them and love them and be grateful for them, but also let them be at peace and not have to ask so much of them and not have to go through so much work together. Working with your ancestors at that point is just like working with yourself. It's just like working with Spirit, because everything is one, because there's so much healing and there's so much gathering. It's really nice. And so that's the point that I want to get to for my ancestors' sake and for my own sake, because there's also just a lot of anxiety when you always have to remember all these different things. And when you just understand that it's all one, it makes it a lot easier, a lot less pressure. It's a lot of pressure when you think about it, to want to make sure you're honoring everyone. And so I find that I should go with what flows, and what flows so easily out of me is Spirit and God. And I know that my ancestors are in God, and I know that my ancestors are in Spirit, and I know that they are one and the same. So yeah, but I just want to use that for clarity, also just to validate myself, to make sure that I feel safe using those terms. Sometimes I have to do that. But what was I saying? Oh God, I don't remember what I was talking about before that. Oh shoot, I don't remember. Yeah, I really don't remember what I was talking about. I'm really excited to go on this trip though. I'm so excited. I really, really, really am just excited to look out at like the vast scenery and see like mountains and water and trees. Because even like being here in this apartment, see, everything is intentional. Because even being here in this, not apartment, but hotel room, but it's kind of like an apartment. Like I'd be happy if I had an apartment this size. This is really nice. But being here in this space, like, and seeing all these trees, I get like a different view from my dad's place, where I get a really beautiful like neighborhood view. My neighborhood is actually really nice. And that's because my dad is pure magic. He doesn't even understand the full extent of magic that he is. It's actually so insane. It's annoying, but I even have. It's okay because I have some peace of mind knowing that he's going to have many lifetimes and he will know the extent to his own magic and his own power. It's just frustrating though in this lifetime seeing it and knowing that he's not fully getting to use it all. And also just knowing how hard of a life he's had. That's one of the most irritating things about being alive is seeing the suffering and not feeling like there's much you can do all the time, or feeling like it's not your place to do something all the time, or just wishing that you could have been there to have stopped things. Like there are just certain things that I was like, that didn't need to happen, or no wonder this is a problem now. Some people are just so mean, and my family's had to deal with a lot of really, like, just a lot of assholes who just take and take and take from them. But these are all generational things that we are breaking with this lifetime. And I'm happy because this will not be the future for my children. My children will have such a different life. And that's because I'm calling it in. I'm demanding it. I refuse. They're not going to deal with that. They're going to be joyful. And of course, they're going to have their ups and downs. But ultimately, they're not going to be dealing with that. Yeah. The ancestors being at peace was what I was saying, I think. Yeah, and using... Oh, right. I was talking about that wave of videos coming in and how Spirit and God has been challenging me to question my worldview. Everything is true. Spirituality is very humbling. It's very, very humbling. Because you're never really right. You know what I mean? Like, there's always more. There's always more. There's always a lot more that you don't know. And then once you realize, you're like, oh, it's that tough pill. And it's like, ugh, to swallow it, but then you swallow it and you move forward. And it's humbling. So if there's one thing that I'm going to continue to do, it's working on that, being humble. Because if you can get that, there's so many things, like I have little qualms about the language that is used in Christianity with like obedience and things like I don't like the word obedient. It's just, it triggers something in me. But I'm learning to love submission, not in like a way that is like you're lesser than, but just in a way where it's surrender and it's just easier. I like the easy. I like the easy. I don't like the hard way. And I'm learning to be okay with that and to understand that submission in this context is being humble enough to always be learning and to always be the student, because whether you want to or not, you are. You know what I mean? And it just makes it easier if you're not going to fight it. And you can just really let it be. Because just I had my worldview challenged around Christianity. Like, it's just come back around. And I mean, I guess I should have seen this coming, because the fact that I've gotten through this whole spiritual awakening this past year, I mean, it was bound to come back into play, because I was healing and going through all my relationships, and Christianity is a huge relationship that I've had in my childhood and then was kind of separate from, but still kind of engaging with in my teen years. So it was going to come back around, and now it's come back around in a different light. And there's a lot of like pastors and like mostly women. I don't really like to listen to men speak. But I'm working through that. I am. But right now it's mostly women. And it's just energies that I like. First of all, I'm learning that it's okay to not like someone's energy. You're not allowed to be mean to them because of that, but it's okay to not like their energy and so then to like not have them on your page, right? Like you're not doing anything to them by just not watching their stuff. So I set boundaries with who I want to listen to when it comes to like certain people who are more clearly Christian. Um, but yeah, I've had a few come onto my page that I like, and so I've subscribed to their channel and I listen to their content, and I listen to the messages that they have to share, and it's been good. And I never would have thought, like a year ago, I would have thought that I was crazy. Actually, like I would have thought that I was crazy, because I was like, I would have been like, "What's wrong with you?" You know. But it was such a closed-minded way of thinking. It was just very like, this is the only way that something can be, and something can't be complicated and complex, and you can't. It's like not acknowledging that I'm a part of a collective. You know, this is the other part. It's been humbling, and it's just like, as much as you are the main character, you are also a part of a collective, and everyone is going through pretty much the same thing, just on different scales and in different ways. And that's probably what you're going to be able to connect to more than, you know, a sign specific reading, or even just a reading one-on-one. Collective messages are really, you know. And so what I found is when I'm speaking about my own situations, which is where I pull from when I'm giving a message like this, like I'm considering this kind of like a message. I'm gonna post this like it's a message, but I'm really just talking about my own stuff. But my own stuff is also the collective stuff because I'm part of a collective. So what I'm dealing with, you're probably dealing with in your own way. And once you can get in tune enough with your life to know what resonates and what doesn't, you can take what you need and leave what doesn't apply. And it's okay to leave what doesn't apply, you know, because then we also, or I, had this feeling of needing to hoard all of the things. So once I received the message, I was like, no, all of it is for me. Instead of being able to just fully understand, it's not always all about you. You know, not every message is for you. Not every part of this message is for you. Yes, you're a part of a collective, but you're also an individual. Things are complicated. Some people have individual messages coming through that are for them, and then some people have messages that are for them. Like, you know, some are for everyone, some is for some is for, you know, it is what it is. And I talked about that a little bit a while ago when I was understanding the way that readers are so gifted. And I was saying that I feel like they deliver individual messages, and like, and I still feel like that, but I'm like realizing that it's even more cool and complicated, because it's like, I'm saying something and I'm delivering a message, and it might be the same words. We might be hearing the same thing, but the reader is also extending beyond that and speaking into specific energy. And so it's like the frequency or the vibe out that they give out, that is the individualized or personalized message. So like, it's that energy work. It's really cool. It's super cool. It's fascinating. But I'm really, really proud of the way that my relationship with Christianity has changed, and the way that I've first been able to release its control over God and just allowed me to have my own relationship with God again, and with that word, with the word God. Oh my God. Fully gonna, well, let me not say that, but yeah, let's leave this alone. But yeah, I'm really happy about that, and I'm really happy that I didn't fight it. I mean, I did fight it, but I didn't fight it to the point where I didn't not allow it to come in. I'm grateful for that, because that would have been a loss. It would have. I wouldn't have found, oh, Spirit Guide Intuitions, another reader I really like. There's a lot of judgments you can make about the way that she delivers messages. You could say things, but that would be your own small-mindedness. It's blocking you from hearing a message from God or hearing a message from Spirit, because you have all of these reservations and understandings about how things should be. Like, that's why I love my ghetto Black womanhood, which I talked about in another video, because it really does allow you, the more things that you are, the more you are able to understand the complexity in other people. Um, and that's a gift because I just get to experience messages from a range of readers and people that make me feel comfortable and make me feel safe and I feel connected to. And they all feed into a different part of my soul, and it's beautiful. And that's when you really know that you are a part of a collective and you're not alone. Um, and that's been really great. But like I said, it's been humbling. But I'm learning to love being humble. And when something puts me on my ass, it might hurt, immediately, and even for a little while. I'm not even gonna, there's no way to, you can't try and control, how badly you hurt over something and what it does to your ego. It's just gonna do what it does. But ultimately, if you can move forward, that's all you really need, as long as you're able to move forward. And I'm really enjoying the ability to know when I'm wrong. And enjoying is a complicated word, right? Like, I enjoy it, obviously, but I'm also like, in the moment and even afterwards, I still feel like, nah, and parts of me want to fight. But ultimately, at its bare bones, I am enjoying the ability to know where I'm wrong and to grow and evolve and have that opportunity. I would much rather have the opportunity to change than have to be the same way forever. That would suck ass because I don't want to. I don't want to at all. I would never want to go back to who I was before. Um, and I want to continue to evolve. I don't want to stay here. I want to grow beyond this. Um, so yeah, but humble and being a servant and being all of these things in the Christianity that you hear a lot in Christianity and things like that, which I'm understanding now on a different level, and I'm happy with and I'm comfortable with. Like, I'm I'm excited to meet my soulmate, and if it is a dynamic where maybe I'm more in submission and I'm more being taken or being led and cared for, and I'm going to care for them as well and lead them as well, but just in the different ways, I'm totally fine with that. I am totally okay with having someone also lead me in life and having someone I can lean on and, all of that. I don't want to be the strong one all the time anymore. And I would like to have someone else, help me carry the load. I'd like to share the load. Um, and so, yeah, even just reclaiming our relationship with submission and things like that. And I think that it's complicated for Black women because it's complicated for our ancestors. And I think that's something I'm working really closely with my ancestors with, which is why this love relationship is also so meaningful to, I think, that my family and my generational history. I do think that falling in love is going to be something that ends up healing my whole family. And not to say like I'm healing, but you know what I mean. Like, having love in my life is going to extend out into my relationships with my family and change things for everybody for the better. I believe that because that's what love does. Just like the way like my sister having my nephew, like the love that I feel for him, that's changed things, changed me forever. I'm a happier person because he's here, and I'm gonna be even more ecstatic when my next nephew comes. Just next month, he's almost here, and it's gonna be crazy. So like I don't even know what he's gonna be like. I'm so excited though. Yeah, it's a whole new relationship, a whole new love, and so when my soulmate finally comes into the physical, it's gonna change things for the better, and I'm ready and willing and more than happy to, surrender and to be in submission and to have that opportunity and that gift, because I am considering it a gift. I am sick of being strong in a way that is toxic and a burden. And that's something that a lot of Black women have had to deal with. And so this is where the complicated feelings come in, because I also understand that, with Christianity, a lot of us Black women who are not, avid, Christians, have problems with it because there is like this like almost like erasure of why we had to be the way that we've had to be, and like this pressure to just submit and blah blah, blah without any like accountability or any real trust, and things like that, and love. And so that's where the defenses come in. And I think that spirit and God knows that, which is why they would never put me in a situation where I would be, where they would ask me to submit or be in surrender and in love with somebody who does not deserve me and does not understand what I bring to the table and what I've already done and the work that I do and my value and my purpose. Spirit is never going to ask that of you. And so the people that come in pretending like they're sent from God, those are the people where you should absolutely have your boundaries up. And that's something I've been doing, and I haven't been ashamed of it. I've been setting, it's just been recent, like it's been one guy, but I set a boundary, and I don't feel bad about it, and I don't regret it one bit, and I'm so glad I didn't waste any more time. And he's not a bad guy, but he's not my soulmate, and God doesn't want that for me. Sorry. But even seeing my own evolution, like I can feel the discomfort in my body with the way that I'm speaking right now, and with the way that I'm even just saying God so often, and the way that I'm saying submission. And I feel the discomfort. I feel the parts of me wanting to be like, well, and like lurch out. But I'm really like holding those parts of me, and I'm like, it's okay. I know, but it's okay. You're safe. And that's all you have to do. Because ultimately, as long as it's something that you actually really want in your heart, then when those parts jump out, it's not a sign that something's wrong. It's just, you're just healing. You're healing the parts that are so scared that they're ready to run. And you're just telling those parts it's actually okay and it's safe to stay here in my arms. You're protected. I'm never going to let you be hurt, because I'm never going to let somebody come in who's going to take advantage and exploit us. The person who's going to come into our lives is going to take care of us, and we're going to take care of them. And they're going to love us in the way that we deserve to be loved, in a godly way. And God is not this, evil, overarching power who wants to hurt you and wants you to listen but doesn't care about your needs and all these things. That was a God that was defined for you. But the real God, or the real relationship that you have with spirit, or whatever term you want to use, is a relationship defined by your own heart and your own idea of love. And it is ever evolving. But it's not something to be afraid of, and it's not punishing. It's understanding, and the punishment usually comes from other people or from yourself and your own fears, because you don't truly believe that you deserve love, or you don't truly believe that you are a good person. That's something I had to confront yesterday too, and I'm still working through this belief that I'm not actually a good person. And I was understanding that was connected to this idea that, or this other truth in me that, like, but that's a real truth for me, that my purpose is very important, and I will and I need to fulfill it in this lifetime. And fulfilling my purpose is part of fulfilling my purpose is being loving and being the energy of love. And so caretaking and mothering is a huge energy for me in my life, and it's a part of my purpose. But the way that manifests in different ways is, well, you're a bad person if you put up boundaries, and you're a bad person if you're selfish, or you're selfish if you're putting up a boundary. You're selfish if you're saying no. That's why I get that feeling when this word no comes up. And not even in the context always of me saying no to something, but even something saying no to me, because then that feels like an attack, because it's like, why are you saying no to me? Because then it's like rejection. It's like, well, where is this coming from? And it's not usually from other people, more, or like, I guess from other men. I don't have a problem with that type of rejection. It's like spiritual rejection that feels the most like to me. And it's because, I'm still working on feeling safe within my spirituality and feeling deserving and feeling protected and wanted and belonging and not feeling like an imposter and like I'm about to be discovered as like a fake, you know? That's something I'm also working on. So there's just so many things that you're constantly working through, but ultimately it's very positive. And it's not this complicated, you know? I'm just unraveling and just telling you about all my thoughts and all the things that have come up, but it's not this complicated, you know? It doesn't need to be. You can just focus on one thing at a time, and everything will just kind of unravel because it just naturally does, just with time. As all things do, everything is working out exactly as it needs to be, you know. But I've always been so paranoid, but no more. Cannot be paranoid anymore. I just have to trust and have faith that things are going to work out and things are going to be fine. And I think that this trip is going to be really significant for me because this is going to be a real act of faith. Mostly because I really don't have like all of the physical means to get where I need to go. Like I am going to need some like divine intervention in terms of like giving me the money or like just the resources in the 3D realm to buy a plane ticket and to pay for a hotel and food and things like that. Like I literally don't have like the full expanse of that. So this is going to be a great example of trusting spirit and trusting in God and trusting that things that are meant to work out for me will work out, and that I can't control everything, and that doesn't mean that, you know, I'm not deserving. It's just that whatever. And, you know, I'm trying not to be too nervous about it or scared about it. I'm also, you know, so much of me wanting to do it myself is also because I really want to make sure it happens, because I know that I deserve it and I know that it's important for me, and so I'm scared about it not happening. Also because I have trauma around travel plans not happening. So I get nervous, you know. The ever-unfolding rose cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. And that is life, is it not? And I don't know. I'm really trying to be open. See? And like things like this, like getting this card and even getting this card, these both cause like in me. These both cause jumps in me and not like positive. They're like scary. Because cracked it open, I'm like, oh, something's gonna go wrong. You know, I see this and I immediately think something's gonna go wrong. And with this, protection, I always don't like seeing this card. But it's like, why don't you like seeing a card that says protection? Why are you afraid of being protected? Why are you afraid of being cared for? And it's like this defensiveness around, I can protect myself. I already know everything that's going on. What do you mean that there's something that I don't know that I need to be protected from? Why do you have more power? Why are you like, why? And then there was a reader, I don't remember who it was, but somebody was like, if you're asking why, it's actually kind of like insulting. And it's like, why are you asking why? And I totally see why they're saying that. And I get that now. And they're absolutely right. And it's like, why are you asking why? Why does that matter? You know what I mean? What is it within you that's hurt that doesn't allow you to just trust or just allow good things to happen for you? And why do you see protection and assume something bad is happening to you? Why isn't it protection and it's like, oh, something good is about to happen. I'm receiving protection. Why is protection associated with bad? And it's probably because it's associated with hurt and pain. You know, why isn't the good thing the protective thing? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's a lot of things to unpack. But sometimes even unpacking doesn't have to be that deep. Sometimes it's just even allowing that thought to expand and acknowledging it, and then you'll find yourself unpacking it just through living life. You don't always have to sit here and have a whole conversation with yourself about it. Sometimes it's just letting that linger and be out there, and you'll find that you're working through it ultimately. The clouds over the land remind me so much of South Africa and like the flatness, the way that it felt so flat. It's really cool. You can see the way that clouds cover shadows of land, make shadows over land for a while, but you see that ultimately it's not because that place is dark, it's just because the cloud is covering it, which feels symbolic. But yeah, and the ever unfolding rose, it's like, why are things coming to light? Why are things happening for you? Why is cracked open a scary feeling? And it makes me think of rock bottom. You know, that's what I associate with this. I associate bad things. I get scared. I'm like, why is something happening? Why is something happening? And it's like, why are you afraid of change? Why are you afraid of movement? Why are you afraid of things occurring in your life? You know, why? Where does that trauma come from? And I know that I have things around change. It's like weird because I'm a person of change because I'm a person of change. I moved around a lot when I was a kid, and I'm Sagittarius moon. And my family on my mother's side is very nomadic. I've had my ancestors on my mom's side come out a lot recently, or just yesterday. Something happened that made me understand that my ancestors on my mom's side were also involved and engaged with my spiritual path, and that was interesting. And yeah, that was interesting because when I talk about my ancestors, I mostly do think about my dad's side, which is interesting because that's a side that I don't know a lot about in general, but I think about my dad's side because I always think about Jamaica and the history of slavery. And for some reason, I only have a connection with ancestors through trauma. I don't just think about just the other ways that ancestors can exist unless it's just bad. You know what I mean? And that's something that has to be healed as well. Though I do have ancestors who had trauma, obviously, on my mom's side, but it's so heavily connected to trauma in my brain with my ancestors in Jamaica. And so I'm like, oh, healing, ancestors, blah, 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 Jamaica, slavery, you know, and it just completely disconnects me from any other experience. So that's something that I'm also, that I don't remember what it was that made me realize that yesterday, but I get that now. And your ancestors are not here to hurt you. I'm even thinking, because I've been having these dreams about like these statues in my dad's place of these like African indigenous man statues coming to life. And they were both like, I wasn't afraid of them, but they were kind of unsettling dreams, not in like a scary way, just kind of like unsettling. But in one of them, the thing was like, or like in my thing, it's like, why are you afraid? Why are you afraid of these ancestors? Why do you think they're gonna hurt you? You know? Why are you afraid? And I was seeing that in another video the other day. I was asking why. I was saying that they want you to be, when they tell you to be afraid of your ancestors, they're telling you to be afraid of yourself. They tell you to deny your ancestors, they're telling you to deny yourself, to deny God. I can't remember everything, but that is something. Take a break. That's what Spirit's saying. To trust my path, to trust the niggle. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? If I knew I would be supported, I would go to Switzerland. And I would be on like a resort where there's a spa and mountains and a lake. I would really love to be able to swim in the lake, but even just kayaking on the lake in a life jacket would be really awesome. And just being able to write on the Swiss hills and have a really good time. Just relaxation, pure relaxation. That's what I would do. Releasing, and yeah, I'd be doing a lot of healing, just a lot of talking to myself, a lot of documenting, a lot of fun, but also just I want to do some healing and just get things out and just be talking to myself. I don't really want to talk to other people, I'm not going to lie to you. This is a trip where I just want to be in my own energy, unless the only person I'd want to talk to is like somebody that's soul family. You know, like unless you're my soul family coming to find me, I don't really want to be engaged with that much on this trip. Just because this trip is about me. I don't want to have to end up being there for somebody else. which, not to be, you know, annoying, but that is kind of what happens to me sometimes. When I end up engaging with people, I end up being there for them in some way emotionally. And I just don't want to have to do that. I want to be able to just fill my own cup, not have to be filling other people's cups. So yeah, that's what I would do, but I'm going to try not to overthink it and just see. I was looking for this card. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Explore your true north. Transformation. The Egyptians have been coming through so strongly recently. But anyways, yeah. I'm gonna just not overthink it. Lemuria, heaven on earth. And let things just take place as they take place. So I'm gonna end this video now. I didn't expect to talk for this long. Yes, I did not expect to talk for this long. But yeah, thanks for listening, and goodbye.